The following explains an operating process method of the skin detector. It has this accessory port right in the back. This is the detection head, and we have a special interface here, which is the 5-pin hole that we have to put in the 5-pin hole before we use it. Just align it with this slot and install it. This port is the power supply. Connect this power supply and will turn this screen back on. The screen goes straight from here. Flip it over and snap it tight. There's an iron post here to support this iron post and push it up. 2 small holes are fitted into the small hole below. Press the top hole with your hand, and then push the little iron post from the bottom up. All he has to do is push the head of this iron pillar into this little hole up here and get stuck, and that's it. Once installed, you can boot up. The power button is on the back. Just press the power button. So during the boot process, we will directly wait for it to enter the system directly, and its accessories are: this is the detection probe, this is a stylus, and this is a touchpad, and it has a stand. The bracket holds the probe, and the probe has a transparent cover in front of it. Just give it a little bit of a crack and you align it. Now this instrument has entered the page. The login name and password in it are already set by default, and we usually do not change the direct login. In terms of function, we have 5 buttons here, and I'm going to talk about the function now. The first one is a VIP customer. This VIP customer is in the process of our usual detection. If these customers are important and you need to save their test results and pictures, we can choose VIP. If you choose his test record in this, he will be stored in it. If you choose VIP, we will click here to add members. You can enter the names and ages of some customers. Here you can enter the keyboard. The keyboard is used to give us numbers or English letters. So if we are going to write text, this is a toolbar with a handwriting next to it. We use the keyboard to write the English letters and the numbers. This save allows you to enter some serial numbers. After we choose the VIP customer, all his information will be stored in it and can be pulled out at any time for comparison. The second button is an ordinary customer. That is, he will not save one of his detection data. For example, after you use the test, after you shut down, the customer data will not be saved and disappeared. So this is a difference between members and non-members. That is to say that we can use this ordinary member when we may quickly detect the extension. So the third one is product input, and the product input method is this function, which means that sometimes we need to put some product into it. Click Add Product and then it is also actually possible to put some product pictures. Put in include the product category name model number. This check mark is used to set the product. And this is basically to set up how the product is going to pop out if we need to put the product in, set up the product right. What is the name of our product? Which skin is it suitable for? So after you set it up and we measure the oil content as long as it is out of the normal range, then he will pop this product. The third is the instrument settings. Instrument settings do not need to be used. Here you can change the password. But the password is not recommended to change because many people will forget after changing it. And finally, the instrument shuts down. Just exit to this screen point. Instrument shutdown. These words are normal shutdown. Don't click on this delete. This will shut down, but it's an abnormal shutdown. Now let's go in and explain some of the features of this device, and I'll pick a regular customer first. This screen is a home screen to see what some of our instruments are doing here. When you start, you open this probe and you look at these two buttons on it. The first button that turns it on has a red light and it has light in it. It's a red light and it belongs to a skin mode that measures the skin layer with red light, so switch it again. It turns into a green light and this green light is a dermal pattern that measures some of the deeper layers of the skin. So let's press the third pattern again and it belongs to 1. This light is specifically designed to detect residual skin waste, including some problems in the area of clogged pores and inflammation. So now is a demonstration of how to do that. What we are going to do is we are going to open this up by following the first skin pattern, and you see here is going to show that the first term is the oil content and we are going to analyze the oil content. Yeah, the test works like this. You click on the scan spot and then you start the scan and then the video device comes out so we can sample the skin and put it on the face. It must be placed on the skin close to the inside of the skin when the image is clearest. We can click on the scan and we can take a picture of it and then we can look at it and put it down. And then he goes to skin analysis, and what he's doing is he's analyzing the oil content of the skin, and a frame pops up. It will contain the formation of the cause and improvement suggestions. Let's look at the bottom left. There is an oil content of 14%, which is also exceeded. So that tells you that the oil content is higher and it tells you that 14 is higher, and then we turn that box off. There's a standard value under it and he's going to tell you that because he's out of his standard range, he's going to tell you that he's higher. This skin is usually analyzed for this project and we can use the same image for the next analysis. Skin pigment point analysis. He can also be analyzed after the data. The pigment is also off the limit. Because it's out of its normal range, it has a standard value. After taking a picture, there are several items that can be analyzed with this image at the same time. One is a partial skin pigment. Collagen and elasticity. The 4 pictures above include this water. All 5 items can be analyzed with the same picture. The other 3 are the skin's pores, its hormone toxins, and sensitivity. Let's focus on one method of analysis of these 3. So if we are going to analyze pores, start scanning pores. Turn him to green light to see the pores. We'll use green light. The outline size of the pore can basically be seen clearly, so that we can see one pore after another. Or we can use UV to see pore size. And then we do almost analysis, and we are going to measure the size of this pore. There's a toolbar up there and this pen to measure it. And after you click it, look, you find this pore. There's a lot of it, and I look at the outline of this pore and I just pick a pore. Just draw a line from the left side of the pore to the right. He's exactly the diameter of this pore, and he's going to have a number underneath him for a moment that tells you how big his pore is. And then analyze it, and that tells you that there's a data pore underneath it, and your average pore size is only 0.34 毫米, which tells you that its average pore size has gone down to 0.34毫米. So there will be a pore analysis results. Let's move on to the next item, hormone toxins. We are going to go to a different frame because we are going to turn this blue light with the hormone toxin. We put it on the face. We look at the skin to see if there is any residue or skin garbage. This one has blue strips or small particles. This blue residue, it belongs to something like heavy metals. Like that heavy metal fiber, including the fluorescent fiber that shows it's going to be blue. We are going to click on this freeze frame and take a picture of it, and there's going to be a tool to measure it. Select this circle to find the residual trash on your skin. If there is garbage left, we can circle it, and after we circle it, we click Save. You don't order where there is none, and circle if there is. Or we can see if there's any inflammation, and we can hit Reshoot, again on blue light. Because of our blue light, he can see some inflammation of the skin, and now there are a lot of red pimples on the face and nose. It is this red particle that belongs to our clogged pores. With this blue light, we can see some residual skin on the face, problem skin residue. These blue strips or particles are remnants of skin waste belonging to some heavy metals or fluorescent fibers. We can see a lot of red particles on the face, and the red particles are inflammation caused by the blockage of our pores. We can take a picture and we can see how much inflammation there is in how many places. Let's say I have 5 or 6 of these on my face this time that have inflammation. Come back after treatment and we'll see if he's gone. You can look at a change in it and adjust a technical situation behind it. This we can preserve, and this function is generally described as an inflammation of our skin. Even the skin residue is covered with blue light. It's more like our hands than our face. Let's pick a better skin and take a look. The skin on your hands is better and you look up there and there's nothing there. It's the ideal skin. He can't see any other excess impurities or skin waste or residue or inflammation. This is the ideal skin, and as soon as it has those problems and you see that these are the problems, skin needs to be improved, and we will introduce this feature first. The next function is skin sensitivity, and skin sensitivity will jump to this screen separately, so let's measure the sensitivity of this item. It's usually about the redness and the allergy, so we have to turn it to this green light. Look at it in the green light pattern because you're using the green light, and look at it in the dermal pattern. You can see the red blood here. Can we take a picture of the red blood here and analyze it? You see he has two tools, a pen and a circle. It is sometimes divided into many cans of red blood. It is a line of red blood color. So if we get a shot of the red blood on the client's face and it's in strips, we choose this pen. This one depends on the number of red streaks that show it by number. So if someone has an allergy, he doesn't belong to the strip, he belongs to the piece, but if it belongs to the quick shape, we are going to pick this circle. Now let's see there's a patch here and you see there's a patch of that red sensitive spot and we can circle it. This is by area, that is to say, the pen is to calculate the number of redness, so this circle is to record the degree of allergy of a whole of it by area. So when the analysis circle is done, click Save. He's going to tell you the area, and that's what the test is, and if the higher the number is, the more severe and the less allergic you are. It means that the less allergic you are, but the sensitivity section is if you have this kind of skin problem, if you have redness or if you have allergies, you just circle it. There's always a cause improvement suggestion next to him. There is not a standard data how much is normal these problems. If there is, then we need to improve, so it is not a standard value in it. The last one is water, which is the same as our previous 4 projects. It can analyze one of its data through the same picture. We can take a picture of the moisture and we can use the epidermis and we can analyze the data automatically. After we analyze it, if we see these items, we can show them in the report. As soon as we have analyzed where he has data, we can finally look at this report. It shows the moisture underneath and the pore elasticity of the pigment. Collagen, its hormone, toxins, and sensitivity are not shown in it because it's shown in images. Once you've photographed it, there's data on it in there. It's going to show up in the report, and we're done with the basic process. Now let's talk a little bit about an additional feature of this instrument, which is that we'll start on the right side of this instrument here, and it will have a couple of things that you can look at and start scanning and finish scanning and almost analyzing. There is a skin contrast. Skin contrast, this function we usually use, is also a separate independent additional function. So how to use this? Sometimes when we use the product, the customer says, I want to use the skin. I want to see if there is a change before and after using the product, so we can use this function. I can do it again after a while because he needs at least 2 pictures for comparison. This is 13%, this is 22%, so now I can click on these 2 pictures and compare them. Every time we take a test, it will have a time and date display on it. For example, I took this photo at the end of March, and now my skin has significantly changed, so it will be very intuitive to see whether your skin has changed. I took this picture to compare with the previous 2. For example, the teacher I took this picture today was taken last week. He has time on it, so you look at it this way. In fact, we can see a good or bad situation of his skin by looking at him with the naked eye like this. So that's a function of skin contrast, and there's another function here, which is to have a 3D magic mirror of skin. So I'm going to tell you about this 3D magic mirror, and it's actually a function where we take a picture of a skin and then we take a picture of ourselves. I'm going to click on this 3D magic mirror, and what it does is it takes our skin and turns it into a 3D slice, and you can see it's 360 10 degrees, and you can pull it and you can see its 4 sides. So how do we look at this? Usually we look at the smoothness and we see if we look at this skin and this line, right? If it's smoother and more flat, then it means that the skin is going to be relatively firm and the skin is going to be elastic and it's going to be relatively even. Is the more ideal skin than my line, it may still have a little range, means that he still said not to achieve the ideal state. And the other thing is that we can tap this keyboard through a 3D digital mesh. It becomes a digital network, and this digital network, we are going to pull this picture right in the middle and look at it head on. If you had ideal skin, the little squares in the middle would be very even. Because the skin that I just patted is better, then we can find a skin that I just patted is not so good. Let's get another one on the face, and this one on the skin that's a little bit worse. So you're looking at his edge now. The more notch you have, the more undulation you have in this line, the less smooth it is. The skin may be sagging, it may have wrinkles, or it may not be firm, or it may have spots, or it may be damaged or something like that. Let's pull it right in the middle to see how even his skin is. The keyboard hits FR and you look like it just had a lot of fish nets on it. The feeling of being pulled and pulled, this picture is completely different from that picture just now. This is where we can visually see if it's even in the middle of your skin and sometimes see the side of your skin that we can see. That's what a 3D magic mirror does. This is how the skin detector is used.